Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome, Mlb Dfs pre-lock live for Thursday night. It's now July 1st. So, welcome to July, and we have ourselves a 7-game slate tonight, and it's a little bit risky. We got a bunch of weather here to go over. First of all, our cheat sheet's been updated, but philschoice.com. First time watching, $35 a month. Check us out, our website. We cover all sports. All sports are included in our package. Especially small sports is our specialty. Of course, we do MLB every day, every slate, which we're doing now. We actually had a pretty decent slate earlier today. I stacked the Red Sox, did pretty well. It's kind of pissed me off that they pulled Dunning after 4 innings. He was doing pretty well, but what else we got going on today? WNBA tonight, there's a showdown. There's an article out for that in our premium room. Connecticut, I think Indiana. We got golf showdowns tomorrow. The Rocket Mortgage Classic started today. KBO every morning. Aussie football is going to be this morning. Euro soccer will be starting back up again, right? I think tomorrow or Saturday. And then, of course, you have all our esports. My man Eric's been doing crazy work with the CSGO. With esports, he's got a spreadsheet out and all that, so check out his article on that. So some good stuff. Big weekend coming up, but we got to get through baseball tonight, so it's going to be possibly a tough one. Is we got to figure out this weather and what's going on. So let's start with weather then and see what we have. So the Washington Nationals and Dodger game is very risky. They're in Washington, and I like the Dodger bats because they're going up against Corbin tonight. But we got to pay attention to that one. They're saying it may start dry, but there's going to be some in-game risk for delays. Kevin Roth saying he thinks that they'll possibly play it, but it's right up in the air right now. So we got to pay attention to that for the next hour. We have a Coors game tonight, the Cardinals and the Rockies, and there's definitely a chance of rain tonight at first pitch. It should be clearing as the game goes on, but I don't think there should be a postponement, but we're looking at, during most of the game, anywhere between 50 and 60% chance of rain. So I know that's going to be very popular on cash night and chalky. So we got to pay attention to the Colorado Rockies and Cardinals tonight. Is there anybody? I think there's somebody else. Is there or no? Cincinnati game at San Diego, Cincinnati. There is some showers around Cincinnati. It may be a late start, possibly a delay, but they should get that game in. That's in Great America, small park we call it, so Big Hitters Park. I'm going to do some interest in that game for the hitters, especially for the Padres and the Reds. So some issues there, but beside that, I guess everything else is okay. Cleveland, we got winds blowing out from center, 15 miles an hour. Met Atlanta game. There is some storms, maybe a pop-up or two, but should be okay. Possibly delay, but that's okay. And then we have obviously interest in that as a DeGrom game. All right, so if anybody's watching, sees any information, throw it in the chat. If I don't spot it, as I'm talking, I'm trying to pay attention to Kevin Ross' Twitter feed and some other stuff and see if anything new pops up. All right, so that's weather. Vegas right now tonight, the Cardinals are the highest implied, 5.9 runs. Beside them, we get the Rockies, 5.3. And the only other teams, actually, a couple teams over 5. But yeah, the Dodgers, 5.2. I do like the Dodgers tonight against Corbin if they play. Astros, 5.2 against Mejia in Cleveland, 5.2. And then 3 teams at 5, Milwaukee, Cincinnati, and the Giants all at 5 implied. I do like Milwaukee tonight as one of my stacks. I actually like Pittsburgh tonight as a sneaky stack in GBPs. And I like the Dodgers too. So that's Vegas. Let's get ready to pitch in then for cash. Our cheat sheet is updated. Just got updated about 2 minutes ago. And of course, which we figured, we have the 2 top pitchers for cash on the board are Jacob deGrom and Corbin Burnes. Both of them over 50% owned. So if you're playing FanDuel, you're just rocking Jacob deGrom, no doubt. On DK, deGrom is going to be your SP1. Actually, deGrom, I mean, you want to call coming up disappointing Adam. He actually gave up 2 runs in his last game against Philadelphia. That's what we want to call disappointing for him. But the good news is we're seeing his pitch count rising now. I think the last game when he had 88 pitches, which is good news for deGrom. Going up against the Braves. He's, to me, the best pitcher in baseball. Just lock him in. Unless something happens, with his injuries this year, he should be good to go for cash and GPP. Now, SP2, Corbin Burnes. Burnes over 50% owned. Is going to be popular in cash. You probably have to play him in cash. I do have some concerns about him because we did see his spin rates down the last game. All the talk now about the foreign substances and everything. We do have to start kind of reevaluating the pitchers now. And looking at Burnes' last 2 games, the last game against Colorado, it was at home though. It was okay, 22.5 DK points. But then I guess you get rid of Coors before that 9. Pittsburgh, he had 14 DK points. How many innings he pitched? He gave up 8 hits. He ended up pitching only 4 innings in that Pittsburgh game. So there is a little bit of concern in my end on Burnes. I don't think there's enough to pull him away from cash games, especially if he's going up against Pittsburgh right now, who's got dead last WOBA and MLB 288 team WOBA. And he's much cheaper. He's only 9.2 compared to the top price pitcher deGrom, who is 11.5. But if so deGrom's obviously a safer play. But if I'm going to GBPs, there's going to be some GBPs where I'm actually going to fade Burnes and look elsewhere, and then end up maybe stacking to be different and kind of head stack the Pirates tonight. I do have a little bit of interest in the Pirates tonight, just if Burnes blows up, especially after seeing the spin rates down after the last game. And we've seen what's happened to some of these guys like Garrett Cole and so on. So it's just something to pay attention to, and it also to be different for GPPs, especially if you're multi-entering the large-scale GPPs. Throwing a guy like a Valdez for Houston, I think he could be a decent GPP play. I wouldn't even argue against playing him in cash. He's 9.8 going up against Cleveland, especially the Astros bullpen is taxed, so that could go either way. It could go a good way for playing Valdez because he probably get a few extra throws tonight, a few extra pitches. I mean, to try to rest that bullpen against Cleveland, or for GBPs thinking that since that bullpen is taxed, maybe throw a Cleveland stack in GBPs against Valdez. So I do like Valdez a little bit. I also like Ian Anderson for the Braves. You can possibly game stack that Braves Mets game. Anderson is right now the third highest owned pitcher, I believe. Yep, at 35%. There's nobody else beside under 20%. Beside those three, Anderson, Burns, and DeGrom, that would be Valdez. So I do have a little bit of interest in Ian Anderson going up against the Mets. I think he is actually underpriced at 7-1 against the Mets. I mean, he's been pretty effective this year. I mean, he's limiting hitters to 309 xWOBA, 26.1 K rate. It's no secret that the Mets have struggled against righties. Only 298 team WOBA. They are hitting them better now, but I do think Anderson's a pretty strong option, especially when we have a core slate tonight with especially GBPs at 7-1. So maybe some GBPs you can run DeGrom and Anderson and get one or two more bigger bats instead of running Burns out there like $2,000 cheaper at 9-2. Anybody else? I mean, Luis Castillo, he is starting to pitch better. He had a strong June. I still would consider him very volatile, especially against the Padres at home, and that in Cincinnati, it's a hitter's ballpark. Padres don't strike out much. He strike out 22% of the time, tied for third lowest in MLB. So he's definitely a boomer bust. But if you're running GPPs, I have no problem running Castillo out as my pitchers. And that's probably really it. I kind of like Merrill Kelly for Arizona, especially that 6-3 price against the Giants. He's actually been pitching pretty damn well. He's a righty. His last two games against the Padres, he had 24 DK points. Against Milwaukee, he had 24. So he's been pitching much better. He had 5 Ks in each one of those games. Against the Padres, 29.3 CSW. Doesn't have a huge upside with strikeouts, but the Giants do strike out a bit in that split against righties, 26%, which is fifth highest. So there is some potential there for Merrill Kelly as an SP2 value on GBPs. And that's pretty much it. I'm not messing with Tony Gonsolin in Los Angeles in a bullpen game. I don't think I even be messing with Johnny Cueto, even though Arizona is a shit team. Cueto might probably be more popular than Kelly, but I actually like Kelly better, and he's also $1,000 cheaper. So I would say, once again, cash, you're going to run Corbin, Burns, and DeGrom, even though I'm not in love with Burns, but I think you got to run him in cash because he's over 50% owned. A couple other guys are going to be then Ian Anderson and Valdez for and then GPPs. The same thing. We can run Valdez out there, run Anderson out there, maybe some Luis Castillo and Merrill Kelly. And that's pretty much it with this slate. It's pretty much a cut and dry slate for pitching. All right, so let's start. Let's go right around with the bats tonight. Start with catcher. See who's going to be popular. Now we're talking cash here, looking at our projections. Your fielder's choice. Cheat sheet, which has been around forever, is one of the best in the business, but Jason Castro is probably going to be the highest owned catcher. We're looking at him at 24% ownership, batting 8th tonight against JC Mahaya. He's lefty. He gets the positive platoon, and Castro is only 2.2. So I have him as my top plays as your top pay down catcher. 141 WRC plus against righties. He can also get you a piece of that high implied Houston total of 4.87 runs. You want to pay up a little bit. If you paid up, I would definitely go to Yadi Molina in Coors. I think 4.2 is too cheap for Molina, even though it's against a righty, but it's Sensatella for Colorado, who's a gas can. He's got north of 40% hard contact. Molina's a good spot tonight, batting 5th against Sensatella. If the Dodgers lineup out now, so Dodgers lineup is out. Will Smith has dropped to 7th tonight. Wow. Smith though is probably still in play at 4K against Corbin. This is a lefty. I wouldn't mind. Probably wouldn't mind Smith and GPPs. But if anything, I would end up running Molina, if anything, over at that price. Smith's price actually has dropped. Anybody else? Buster Posey, I think, is in an actually decent spot. He's hitting righties on a reverse this year. Definitely 229 ISO, 407 WOBA, but 305 batting average. I have Buster Posey leading off tonight. Or is the Giants lineup out? I have a note that Posey's leading off. Let's see. Yeah, I don't even see a Giants lineup out yet. So he possibly may be leading off. Dodgers, there's a note that Dodgers that Victor Gonzalez is actually going to open ahead of Tony Gonsolin tonight. So Gonzalez starts, and then Gonsolin's probably going to come in the second or third inning. The Dodgers lineup is yes, it's Smith's batting seventh. Wilson Ramos just signed with the Cleveland Indians. Wow, that just came out. All right, so that's catcher. Anybody else for GPPs? Tyler Stevenson, batting cleanup tonight in Cincinnati, definitely against Ryan Weathers. He gets the platoon split, 259 ISO. Stevenson is not hitting bad, 310 over the last week with a homer, 310 over the last month with 3 homers. So at 4,100 though, he's a play for GPPs only. Yan Gomes, same thing in Washington. Gomes is not bad, 3,600. He gets the platoon split against his now Gonzalez and Gonsolin. Omar Narvaez, I think, is in a good spot against Will Crow, especially if you're running stacks or GBPs. I would get Narvaez and any stacks from Milwaukee, batting cleanup. And that's pretty much it. But I think the popular play is going to be Jason Castro for Houston. If you're not going to go Castro, then you go to Molina. And possibly, I would say, probably Narvaez, I guess, against Will Crow from Milwaukee. All right, so that's our catcher. I don't think I'm missing anybody. No. I'm liking Narvaez more and more as I'm looking at his numbers here. I mean, Castro's still the chalk play in cash. But GVPs, I don't mind Narvaez at all at 4-4. Okay, so going to first base in cash, the popular play is definitely going to be Paul Goldschmidt at 32. We have him projected at 32% ownership on DK. FanDuel, we have looking at 14%, pretty much the same as CJ Cron for Colorado and Max Muncy for LA. And I actually like Max Muncy a lot tonight also, but I'm just afraid of that game. But because he's batting cleanup. But in DK, the play is going to be Paul Goldschmidt. Goldschmidt is not having a great year, no, but he is in Coors. He's under 5K. He's going against Sensatella, who's got 45% hard contact, and Goldie is hitting over 280 over the last month with 5 homers and 15 ribbies. So cash, DK, lock in Paul Goldschmidt. FanDuel said you can probably mess around with CJ Cron at 3-3. Another name, especially for GBPs, is Eric Hosmer for San Diego. Batting 5th. He's 8 for 13 lifetime against Luis Castillo, which is 615 batting average. So Hosmer's in play, and he's only 4-3 now. So especially if you're game stacking that or stacking the Padres, I would make sure I got Hosmer in there along with Tatis, Cronenworth, Grisham, and Machado. Pay up is said Max Muncy. I like Muncy a lot tonight. He crushes lefty. He's going up against Patrick Corbin, who has just become a gas can this year. Muncy's in play. Yuri Gurriel's in play for Houston. He's batting cleanup tonight at 5K against Mahia. He's in play. There are pay ups. Or if you want to pay down, I got 2 plays. Albert Pujols. Can't believe I'm saying this, though, but he's in play against Corbin. He's back against lefties. He's back to the old Pujols. He's actually 681 slugging percentage, 1.036 OPS this year against lefties. That's the old Pujols. So Pujols is in play. So he's up to 3-1 though now. But if you're stacking the Dodgers, I would get Pujols in that stack against Corbin. And then one more is Keston Hiura. I can't believe another one. I can't believe I'm saying that because I'm not a Keston guy. But he's batting 7th tonight. He's 3-2. But since he's come back from AAA now, he's hitting 330 with 3 home runs, 10 ribbies, and a 476 ISO. So Hiura is a GVP only play, but If you're stacking Brewers, you can get him in there. You know he's batting seventh. So once again, goalie's your play for cash on DK. If you want GDPs, you want to pay up. I love Muncy. I'm paying down. I like Pujols, and I also like Eric Hosmer. And Eric Hosmer's a mid-price guy for the Padres, especially the way he hits against Castillo in the Hitters Park in Cincinnati. All right, that's first base. Second base, looking at our projections, Garrett Hampson we got Hampson as high as projected 22%, and then right below him at 18%, we have Alejo Lopez, who's playing for Suarez tonight, Cincinnati. Lopez can play second or third or second or short. I think second or shortstop. Now you look up. Second or shortstop. So Hampson or Lopez are your two top ownership guys with DK, Hampson, and FanDuel. I actually like Hampson a lot today. So, especially his price. He's really cheap. Tapia's got the night off. So Hampson at 3.5 is going to lead off tonight against Adam Wainwright. He's went 4 for 5 yesterday, a double, a couple ribbies, second straight multi-hit game. I think you lock Hampson in cash. A few other plays I do like, though, for GDPs, starting with I like Josh Rojas for Arizona. I always like Rojas, especially his price, 360, 3.6, though. Over the last week, he's been at 350 with a home run, 5 ribbies. And a hitter, Fenway Park, Chase Field, when he gets the platoon advantage against Cueto. I like Josh Rojas. I love Chris Taylor tonight for the Dodgers. No, I don't. Yeah, Taylor's batting second. Batting second against Patrick Corbin. I like his price at 4.2. Corbin's got a 5.34 ERA, 1.37 WHIP. Now Taylor comes in middle of the order, 375 on base percentage, 571 slugging, 946 OPS. I love Chris Taylor tonight. You can also put him in the outfield at 4.2 against Corbin. Jake Cronenworth, I also like. He's hit 320 over the last week. I think he's in play. He's got 7 homers over the last month, 16 ribbies, hitter Fenway Park. Or you could pay up to, of course, Jose Altuve for the Astros going against Mejia. He's always in play, kind of slumping a little bit now, but he still seems to get on base every game. So the popular play is going to be Garrett Hampson on DK at 3.5. If you don't want to go Hampson, no. If you're afraid that is also like at Altuve. I love Chris Taylor tonight and Josh Rojas. I guess Jeff McNeil at 3,000. He's not hitting that well, but I guess McNeil's kind of in play also, leading off for the Mets. I used to be a McNeil guy, but he hasn't done anything since he kind of came off the IL this year. Yeah, he is leading off 3K. All right, so it's Hampson. If I get the Chris Taylor, I'll go to Chris Taylor. Third base. Our projections, ownership-wise, we're looking at Nolan Arenado at 25% ownership or Abraham Toro 18. I really think if you're playing DeGrom and Burns from Milwaukee, it's going to be hard getting Arenado. I think Arenado is one of the top plays of the night. Coming back to Coors, it's his first game back to Coors. Big day yesterday. He went 2 for 3 with a bomb. Now it's 4 home runs over his last 10 games, and now he comes in the first time to Coors where he crushed his whole career tonight. It's gonna be tough with that price. I'll get him in with DeGrom and Burns. I think if you don't go Arenado, the play's gonna have to be Abraham Toro for Houston, who's batting second tonight between Altuve and Brantley at 3K against JC Mejia. Great spot for Toro. He's going to be popular. He'll probably end up more popular than Arenado before it's all said and done. A nice punt play, Starlin Castro for Washington tonight. He's only 2.5, but actually he's hit 280 over the last week. 357 on base percentage. Big game yesterday. He went 2 for 4 yesterday with a 2-run homer, a 2-run single. So I have no problem using Starlin Castro at 2.5 against the Dodgers bullpen game of Gonzalez and Gonsolin. Of course, I also like Machado tonight. 333, 2 homers over his last 10 games. Probably going to be hard to get up to him. So once again, to recap, we're playing cash. It's going to be Abraham Toro. Unless you have the money, then definitely Nolan Arenado. This is going to be really tough to get the Arenado tonight. I want to in cash. So if I'm multi-entering, if I'm making more than one lineup, I'm definitely going to have a lineup with Arenado in it somewhere. That's third, I believe. Right, I guess Ryan McMahon really isn't hitting, and that's probably it. Okay, shortstop. Paul DeJong on DK. Paul DeJong is carrying about 25% ownership. And then both under that is Alejo Lopez, the kid playing for Suarez, 18% ownership. DeJong is only 3-4. He's having a terrible year. He's not hitting at all, but he does have pop. He can definitely lose one. He hits righties better, and he's going up against Sensatello and Coors. I think 3-4 is too cheap for a shortstop in Coors. If you have money for GVPs, of course, Fernando Tatis is a top play there. As always, in Cincinnati, he's hit 424 of his last 10 games, 4 homers, 7 ribbies. Tatis is your top play. I also like Willie Adames a lot tonight from Milwaukee. Actually, right now, Adames is one of the hottest hitters in baseball. He had a grand slam yesterday. Second homer in his last 3 games. He's got 3 homers in his last 6 games. He's just hitting wild right now, Milwaukee. 280, 362, 523 slash since he got traded to Milwaukee. I love Adames tonight. It looks like, though, the popular play is going to be DeJong at 3-4. I have him right now penciled in my main lineup. So, do I love it? No. Because I said DeJong isn't hitting, but he's also the type of guy that can hit 2 home runs. And he is in a good spot tonight against Sensatello. I'll probably get Adames, and probably my favorite stack tonight is going to be Milwaukee. So I'm probably if I don't play Adames at short on cash, I'll end up playing him in my GVP game, GVP lineup. Court yet. Dundee said J-Ram GVP definitely. And that's the way you want to look at this Cleveland game. J-Ram is in an awesome spot against Valdez, especially if Valdez starts getting hit, has some issues. I said the Astro bullpen is taxed. So they're going to probably end up keeping Valdez in there longer than normally would. So if Valdez is doing good, that's great for using Valdez. But if he's hitting bricks here, it would be nice to have a Cleveland stack going. And if I'm running a Cleveland stack, I'm going to start out with Jose Ramirez, who could definitely have a good game tonight against Valdez. The Indians got a weird lineup. They got Ernie Clement batting 7th, Hedges 8th, and Oscar Mercado. Actually, I like Oscar Mercado batting 9th at 2K. So definitely J-Ram and GVPs. All right, so we're already to outfield. We're making this quick again here tonight. Looking at our projections at YFC, Dylan Carlson and Tyler O'Neill are your 2 highest, which I figured that they're both over 25% owned on DK. I think if you're playing cash, you got to get both of those guys in your lineup. Carlson's your leadoff hitter for St. Louis. Tyler O'Neill, if anybody, I think Tyler O'Neill's in a better spot than Carlson. He's $200 more. O'Neill has crushed righties this entire season, even though he is a righty. He's a better reverse splits hitter. He's 297 ISO, 396 WOBA, and I'm assuming he's batting cleanup tonight. So really good spot tonight for Tyler O'Neill. He's batting cleanup. Then you got Carlson leading off at that price. You just put both those guys in your cash lineup and then figure out who your third bat's going to be. Your third bat will probably be some guy like in a 4K range. So looking at guys in that range, that's pretty much what I've come up with. You got Nicky Castellanos, who I like a lot tonight at 4.9. Crushing lefties all season. Now against Ryan Weathers, Hitters Park. Against righties, against lefties, 257 ISO, elite, 415 WOBA, elite, 343 batting average. And he's hitting 410 over the last week with 3 homers. Castellanos in play. Trent Grisham is in play. Tommy Pham is out tonight. So Grisham is leading off. Gets a platoon advantage in Hitters Park and Castillo. We have Chris Taylor, who I like a second. You can also put Chris Taylor in the outfield. He's a mid-range play. You got Will Myers, who's actually a value play under 4K. He's like 3-4. He's coming around now. He's got 3 homers in the last 11 games. Power speed combo, great combination for Great America Park tonight. Jonathan Daza for the Rockies at only 3.2. You can play him. You can play Hampson in the outfield, who we have also at second base. These are all value plays. Also, I like David Peralta tonight at 2.8. Arizona going against Cueto. Bunch of ways you can go. I'm not going to pay up tonight, but if I do, you got Kyle Schwarber for Washington. If that game goes off, 12 homers in his last 11 games. Gets split advantage against Gonsolin Gonzalez tonight. Donde's asking Winker, Castellanos, GVP, Castellanos. I'm all over Castellanos tonight. Well, actually, GVP, you can probably run Winker and GVP and Castellanos and Cash. I think Castellanos is probably more highly owned, so run Winker. Daniel's asking FanDuel outfield for Cash. One of my top, actually, and I don't have my top plays, but one of my top FanDuel outfielders tonight is Mike Yastrzemski at only 2.9. Yastrzemski, looking at Yastrzemski's numbers, I just had him pulled up for the Giants. And he's only 2.9 on FanDuel. Going up against Merrill Kelly, he's got the positive platoon, 308 ISO, 383 WOBA. I love Yastrzemski. He's not hitting right now though. He's been in a slump. But last month he's got 4 homers. Last month hitting 240. I think Mike Yastrzemski's in a great spot tonight on FanDuel. A couple other plays, FanDuel, of course O'Neill, Carlson, Grisham, Yastrzemski. Who else we got? I mean, Yellick's 4.4. If you can make like a Yellick, Yastrzemski, Tyler O'Neill work, that would be the way I would go to FanDuel. I do, and you said Kelly going to rake the Giants. I do. I like Merrill Kelly a lot tonight. Kelly's probably my favorite GPP pitcher. But there is one player on that Giants team I like, and that's Mike Yastrzemski tonight. I don't mind Posey either. So the Giants lineup is out. So Lamont Wade's leading off, and Yaz is batting second. Crawford 5th. So I do like Merrill Kelly tonight. GPPs. Anybody else I'm missing? Probably not. So paying up besides Schwarber is Charlie Blackmon. He gets advanced against Wainwright, 6 for 18 BVP. If you're going to pay up, I guess Blackmon is in a good spot. But beside that, it's probably it. Said you want to get probably in Cap, and Carlson, and in GVPs. I'd probably get away from these Cardinals. I mean, once again, remember the Cardinals are not a great hitting team here. So if they're going to be popular in cash, you probably have to use them. But if you're running GPPs, I'll be probably going other places like the Brewers, with Padres, or the Dodgers. Remember the Cardinals right now have just a 278 WOBA. They're not only the Cubs right now for team WOBA. That's how bad the offense is right now. So for GPPs, I'm probably not playing any Cardinals at all. All right, so that's our outfield. Another name, did AJ Pollock make the Dodgers lineup? AJ Pollock, he's batting 8th. I think AJ Pollock's in a good spot at 3K. If you look, AJ Pollock's entire career, he's crushed lefties. Now he gets another one tonight in Corbin. Where is he? He's got a career 314 batting average, 557 slugging, 921 OPS against lefties. So AJ Pollock's in a great spot batting 8th if that game goes off in Washington. I mean, look and see if there's been any update on this weather in Washington. Let me see here. There is some updates here. Let me see here. So they're saying, God, man, there's a lot going on. So they're saying, okay, Washington possible postponement risk, low risk in Colorado, so 0 risk in the Pittsburgh game. So I guess pretty much what we were saying at the start of the show. We still have to pay attention to Dodgers and Nationals. So just pay attention to Discord before a lock, and we'll let you know if there's any kind of postponements or delays. I'm going to pay attention to after the show here, last half hour, and see what I can come up with. All right. Okay, so to end this all up, right now my cash core is going to be DeGrom and Burns, of course, Goldschmidt, O'Neill, Carlson, and I think Garrett Hampson. I think that's my cash core. My top stacks, cash, of course, Cardinals. I love the Brewers tonight. I like the Dodgers. I like the Rockies, and I like the Astros. All right, so let's hit price picks quick. Code YFC for price picks. If your state allows it, if you can play it. I have Corbin Burns over 7Ks. I think that's a given for Burns. If you look at Burns's logs, he's hit 7Ks now in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, like 12 of his last 13 starts. So take the Corbin Burns over on 7Ks. I have Fernando Tatis over 1.25 total bases. That should be a given. And I also have Willie Adames over 0.5 runs or RBIs. So if Adames scores a run or hits a ribby, you're cashing on Willie Adames. So I like Adames over 0.5 runs, Tatis over 1.5 total bases, and Burns over 7Ks. All right, that's pretty much it for now. I'm going to try to go back and look at this weather and try to figure out if anything's going to affect our cash lineups. If you guys have any questions, hit me up now, or hit me up in Discord for GPPs or cash. I mean, cash I think it's gonna be pretty basic tonight. You're running DeGrom, you're running Burns, you're running Jason Castro, Goldie, probably Abe Toro, Carlson, O'Neill. It's gonna be a very chalky night for cash. So I'm gonna end up probably playing some more GPPs than normal. All right, that is it. It's 6:35. We have about a half hour before lock. Plenty of time. Let's get this tonight. Let's hit some GPPs, maybe, and let's win some money tonight, guys. All right, we're out of here. Thank you, Mickey, my producer, and that is it.